Hi guys, and welcome to another one of those reviews that I mentioned I was going to start doing more frequently, which is of unique IEMs, things that not many people have heard. And first of all, I want to thank my good friend Carlos for providing me with the stuff that he has been providing me lately. I mean, the desk is his. This specific IEM that I will be talking to you about as well is his. This Lotto Paul Gold Touch is also also his, the titanium version. So he has been kind enough to loan me some very, very special and very unique and not very commonly available products for me to test, listen to, learn, and then convey my experience with you guys. So what do I have here for you this time? Well, this time I've got this IEM over here, which is a custom-made IEM by a gentleman in the Ukraine. Only 3 pieces were ever made, so it doesn't really get more exclusive than this. Carlos is one of the owners. The other 2 gentlemen, I have no idea. So there's 3 only of these IEMs ever made. It's a resin shell, as you can see. Okay, resin shell. And then it's got a dynamic driver and an AMT driver. Okay, there's the AMT driver, right? There's the dynamic, and those that are perhaps a little bit more savvy will notice a peculiarity. The back of that AMT driver, of that dynamic driver is completely open to the outside. Okay, there's a little vent filter there, and what that basically means, and I could be wrong, but is that they've tried to follow the gentleman that designed, that engineered this, tried to follow the idea of a earbud in the rear, okay, of the driver. So the driver, instead of being inside of a shell and having a fixed volume of air inside of the shell, it doesn't. It exits straight away through the nozzle, and then the back is open to the atmosphere. The AMT, as you can see, this has got some really strong magnet. I mean, look at this. Look at that. Really strong. The AMT has got then its own specific duct, which also goes into the nozzle. And AMT drivers, what are AMT drivers? Well, it isn't correct for me to start saying certain things and then kind of fall into the same trap as we've been having lately with all these, the SPD drivers, and then now the new driver from QDC / C Audio, which are all, look, in essence, they are all variations of planars. That's true, but when we think about planars, we think about the conventional planar, and these new drivers are alternative means of doing a planar kind of driver. But the marketing used wasn't exactly the best, and then that generated controversy and complications. Air motion transformers, so AMTs, what are they? They are basically it's not correct to call them obviously a normal dynamic driver. It's not correct to call them a planar magnetic. It's not correct to call them an electrostatically driven as well driver. This is not to be confused with ribbon drivers as well. This is its own specific technology, which basically is what it's a diaphragm that has the voice coil etched into it. That diaphragm is then that strip of diaphragm is folded into a kind of an accordion style, like we used to do when we were kids. Fold the paper multiple times, like a long strip of paper. You fold it so it comes down, it reduces its size, and then the air trapped between those folds interacts with that diaphragm and the signal that passes through the voice coil that is etched into it, causing vibration, and a very minimal vibration. There doesn't have to be a lot of vibration for sound to be produced, and effectively you then produce sound. It's simple, it's smart, it produces sound again, I don't want to try and complicate too much. It produces sound on both sides of that said diaphragm, and yeah, let me not complicate too much. Okay, the one thing that is important here is that it creates that vibrational pattern perpendicular to the diaphragm. All right. Anyway, what is the benefit of this is you have a very small motion of that diaphragm, and by having a very small motion of that diaphragm, you then have a very highly controlled interaction. So everything is very tightly, very tightly. The tolerances, the everything is very tightly controlled, and so you have a very electrically capable driver, and by electrically capable I mean it's a driver which is very very stable in its operation, because the diaphragm doesn't move too much, so it doesn't cause big variations of the electrical parameters associated with drivers. And following up on that other characteristic, which is the fact that the diaphragm uses this folded configuration, just for the sake of you guys understanding, a 25 millimeter strip of AMT has got basically the same functional area as an 8-inch 200 millimeter dynamic driver. So you can imagine that this AMT inside here, I've got no idea of the size it is. It will effectively have the same ability to displace air as a much larger driver. Okay. AMT drivers also capable of working very much in the full frequency spectrum, although I suspect that in this case, because there's a dynamic driver there, it's been limited somehow to a specific band of frequencies. Probably it's working from the lower mids up. So I would say that maybe from around the transition from the bass to the mid, so 600 hertz upwards, it's probably already working, or that's where it's been kind of crossed over to work, and it's complemented then by the dynamic driver. The interesting thing here about the dynamic driver as well is, as I've mentioned, the fact that it's open to the back. So that the conjunction of having an open back dynamic driver with an AMT, all of this means that things have to be properly tuned. Things have to be very well matched. It can't be just throwing things together and hoping that it will work. And the truth is, they have been very well done. Whoever designed this knows what he's doing. And although my initial impressions when I first heard it were like, okay, I was like, it sounds good, very detailed, but something is lacking. I came to quickly realize that I hadn't exactly understood the technology that was being used. By not understanding the technology that was being used, I was not probably selecting initially the proper way of using this in terms of the insertion depth and the tips and so on and so forth. And also the power that I had, not that it's power hungry, but the source that I had connected up to it to start extracting from it its full potential. And it wasn't until I actually started playing around with some of the earbuds that I have that I realized that by placing it in specific positions and moving around the earbuds in my ears in specific positions, I change the way the bass is perceived and the amount of bass that is present. And this is an IEM that goes along those lines. Although I do put it inside of my ear, changing slightly the way that I actually have it angled in my ear makes a monumental difference in how the bass is then perceived. Very much like the etymatics, the further you actually insert it, the better the performance will be. This is an IEM that benefits from a deep insertion and a proper angled insertion as well. so that the sound can then be what it is. And what is the sound? Absolutely amazing. I know I've been saying a lot of that lately, but I've been lucky enough to have had access to some pretty unique IEMs. Some I own, some I actually bought, and now lately I've actually had access to IEMs that some people have loaned me, Carlos, Gustavo, and so on. And it's not until you actually start really delving into the high-end stuff that you start realizing that yes, there is a lot of high-end stuff that it's overhyped, but there is some high-end stuff that is truly unique. The Dest is one such example. The Dest is unquestionably an amazing sounding IEM. What they've achieved in the Dest with 4 BAs and the 2 ESTs is nothing short of, for me and for what I've listened to, and like I said, I've listened to some really good things. It is absolutely amazing. And again, the same thing happens here with this IEM. The fact that there's just 2 drivers, and that it's able to sound the way it sounds and bring music to a level that it does is just it's mind-boggling. Honestly, it's really mind-boggling. Obviously, being such an exclusive IEM, not many people will be lucky to experience what I've experienced over these last couple of weeks. And my only regret is not having given it its needed attention in the first few days to understand how it actually worked properly, because I would have enjoyed it way more, and I obviously have to return it to its owner now. But the last week since I've actually been able to get it, get the whole notion of what it's about and how it works, has been an experience. I know that I am now a significantly more enriched person when it comes to sound, not only because of this IEM, but also because of the Dest. And going forward, I will definitely have an improved perception of how sound should be, and having these 2 IEMs has as unquestionable references for me. I mean, just to quickly give you an idea of what this sounds like, and it's not easy to convey, but if what you want is to listen to jazz and listen to that jazz as if you were in the jazz club itself, this does that. You listen to things like Sevdaliza, Joanna. You listen to things like Jasmine Horn, Free Your Mind. You listen to things like Billy Raful, Acoustic. You listen to things like Jacob Gorevich, Secret Sorrows. You listen to Lady Blackbird. Even Candace Springs in Peace of Mind, Piece of Me. And you understand, at least I understand, this is what a true high-end IEM plays or is able to reproduce female voices. Most of these that I just gave you were female voices. It is just surreal. It is absolutely surreal. This is not a bass monster. No, it's got the right amount of bass to complement itself with the mids and with the highs that it has, and it's just absolutely unreal. I'll show you the graph in a couple of minutes so that you understand. Although, you will have to keep in mind that because of the way that it's designed, it doesn't show, especially the bass, it will not show what the true reality of the bass is. The speed of the bass, obviously a product of having that AMT, and that AMT brings a quickness to the sound that I suspect that even if the DD driver wasn't of high quality, it would make it sound like if it was of high quality, but that's not the case. you know, the texture that the bass has, the speed that the bass has, the way that the mids are put forward, be it instruments, you know, the whole atmosphere of songs. It is it's an experience. It is honestly an experience. You know, there's nothing, there's no this thing thing is not the right word, but anyway, this IEM here, it's like it's crystal clean, okay, and just for you to have a perception of how crystal clean it is and how good it is. If this was clean and if this was detailed, this takes that a little bit up. And I honestly thought it was almost impossible, because the test is truly very clean, very detailed. I mean, I was listening to my Neon Pro, which I consider to be my audio Neon Pro, which I consider to be a very detailed IEM. You know, keeps up very easily with the likes of an old EVX. I was listening to that, and then I put this on, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? You know, it's a difference which is noticeable. How clean, how that little extra detailed this can be. And then putting this on, you know, however incredible this may sound, what I'm about to say, you notice again that little increase in extra cleanliness, extra everything. I mean, in terms of soundstage, surreal. Huge soundstage. Imaging, spot on. Technically, those two technicalities, I've never heard an IEM that is superior to this. Never. This is now the king when it comes to that. Soundstage, imaging, this one. Obviously, we're talking a lot of money. And if we take that into account, yes, there are plenty other IEMs which are capable technically, which are cheaper, way cheaper. You know, as I mentioned before, technically the audio is amazing and it costs a fraction of this. The SoundDrime SR8, amazing, very good technicalities, very good. Duno SA6 MK2, very good technicalities as well. And they all are substantially cheaper. But this is, you know, the top dog. Timbre and tonality is for the most part very correct. And this is now a personal thing of mine. I would have liked just a little bit extra bass. Okay, but I understand that it's the design premise, the design philosophy doesn't allow for it. Okay, but a little bit extra bass just to reaching up things a little bit more would have been the ideal for me. Okay, and that's it. I mean, if what you like is you know, details, atmosphere, female vocals, if that is what rocks your boat, honestly, you need something like this. I don't know how you get your hands on it. I really don't. But this is what you need. You need to have this Ukrainian work of art. That's it. I mean, guys, I honestly don't have any more. I don't have nothing else I can say. I mean, and then coupled with the Lotto, this combination, yeah. I mean, I heard it with my trusted Frankenstein here with the Q style and the NX7. And I mean, it sounds good with this. I mean, let's be truthful. You know, this is $100 and something for the NX7. It's $200, just over $200. I mean, there's let's say $400 for this. This is magical in my opinion. This is a very, very good combination. Okay, there's really nothing that I can floor as a negative when I consider the price that this costs. And it played. It played it very well. The Lotto is just a different championship completely. Completely different championship. So yeah, guys, that's basically it. I'll just show you another graph of it so you guys can have a quick look at it, and we'll wrap it up. All right, take care. Hi guys, and welcome now to the graph section of the Ukrainian beauty. And I say this because it just doesn't have, there's no brand, there's no name associated with it. Anyway, this is the graph of the IEM. Please note that this drop that you see here in the base is due to the way that it's been designed, and I tried to find ways to try and measure it and give you a perception of what the base was, but it was just very, very, very difficult to try and come up with a decent enough graph. And the rest, you look at it and you kind of, okay, well, the moment I put on the dist, you understand straight away what has been done here. The AMT driver is doing wonders in the upper mids, the treble area. It's working beautifully. There's no sibilance, nothing. The 5K peak, the 5K area is down. It just is very, very good. Extension right out of the charts. I mean, I don't hear that much out there, but I can guarantee you that I could hear loads of air, of space, of details. Okay. And the bass, I would say the bass is probably about the same as the dist, give or take. Compared to the sound rhyme, again, the bass is like what I hear is a kind of a bass which is very, very reminiscent of the bass of the sound rhyme. And of course, the sound rhyme doesn't have the amount of details. The sound rhyme is, by comparison, laid back. Okay. And then, just for the sake of comparison as well, here's the Neon Pro. For those of you that might enjoy it, loads of energy, and it's noticeable. Yes, the Neon Pro does have more bass, unquestionably, but the energy that it has in the mids, upper mids, and this whole area here, although very, very well done on the Neon Pro, it just doesn't match the finesse of this IEM. This IEM just does it in a. It's honestly, I truly wish that there would be a way of, showing and being able to let people understand how, even if it was just by hearing this thing sounds surreal. I mean, like I said, if the dist for me is flawless, this is able to take that flawlessness and just give it that little extra. And it's noticeable, especially here, that it's more detailed, cleaner. Everything is just, and if you recall in the review, I was saying the Neon Pro versus the dist, and I was listening to the Neon Pro, and yes, the Neon Pro has got loads. I mean, you look at this and you think, oh, the Neon Pro is going to just destroy the dist. And fine. Got more volume, fair enough, but it doesn't have the finesse of the dist. It doesn't have the cleanliness, the detail, the atmosphere that the dist is able to create is on a different level. And that difference that exists between the dist and the Neon Pro is, again, a difference that is not on the same scale, but is a difference that exists as well between the Ukrainian beauty and the dist. The Ukrainian beauty, especially in the upper mids and treble area, is able to bring that little extra to the equation, which just makes it absolutely fantastic. Anyway, my big thank you once again to Carlos for this opportunity. I hope you guys will enjoy this, and as always, like and subscribe. Click the smash, not click it, smash it. I wanna see more interaction. People comment, please. I know sometimes I take some time to reply. It's not on purpose, but please comment, interact with me. I want questions. I want you to, abuse me in a good way. All right. You have a good one then. Take care.